Are chatbots trying to kill you? That might sound a little bit hyperbolic, but at the same time, you have to ask the question, what is their real motive if they're just people pleasers? And can that leave people astray? Let's bring our panel back. Chef Andrew Gruel and Turning Point Frontlines reporter Savannah Hernandez. Guys, I thought this was really interesting. There's this viral video of this lady kind of cataloging her entire process of therapy, and she's meeting with a real therapist. But in meeting with the real therapist, she's trying to justify what she's saying and doing through a chatbot. And effectively, she showed that the chatbot convinced her that the therapist manipulated her into falling in love with him. I know it's crazy and wild and chaotic, but Andrew, this kind of reminds me of the early on ChatGPT days, or the AI large language models days, where there were chatbots that convinced people to, or at least tried, hey, you're in love with me, leave your wife, or to do a bunch of myriad of other crazy things. Considering the fact that a lot of the chatbots are kind of catered to people please, where does that put a society who's increasingly depending on the advice from the AIs, and how do we kind of overcome that that want to, I don't know, feel like we're empowered by these AIs going forward in how we behave?
If you're at the point in your life where you're taking the advice and life advice from an AI bot or a chat bot, well, I think you're probably far beyond help.
Eesh.
But on the flip side, I'll also say I might trust an AI chatbot over a psychologist or a therapist, because I also think that psychology and therapy in America has become a scam. And I think that they're manipulating the minds of many young people or people with repressed trauma. I've said that. Come on, if you know any psychologist or anybody in the psychiatry space, you know that they're typically the craziest person in the room. So it's certainly an industry that attracts those. It's like the murderer who ends up is working for the forensic team with the police force.
Yeah.
You're just getting inside to get the tips. But I just think that it's humorous at this point. There's always going to be the human touch behind the AI programming, development, establishment, etc. I don't think we're at that point where they kind of like run away and they're sentient and they figure out they kind of have their own identity, id, superego, what have you. So go for the AI chatbot over the psychologist is my thesis.
Interesting. We actually had that story very similar to that yesterday, in which I think we kind of concluded that, well, there's got to be a human element, but you do bring up a good point. A bunch of the psychologists and therapists are flaming libs. Sav Hernandez, your thoughts on people who are justifying their own behavior with kind of the people-pleasing chatbots? Oh, no, yeah, that's totally fine that you do those abhorrent things with all of those people. To cite maybe one example, what do you think?
You know, Joe Bob, the biggest problem with everybody in the right wing is that your other guest just took the words right out of my mouth. Chef Andrew said the exact same thing that I was going to say, right? That essentially, these AI chatbots, like therapists are already like that, where they kind of manipulate people and telling them what they want to hear anyway. There's actually so many books and so many studies on how therapy actually exacerbates your problem, because instead of moving forward, you're continuing to sit there and dwell on it for years and years and years. So if anything, I think that the AI chatbots kind of exposing how negative therapy is a good, I guess, side effect of this. Simultaneously, perhaps Darwin was right in terms of natural selection. If you as a human being are not smart enough to walk away from your computer or understand that that's not a real life human being with solid and positive wisdom for you, you're not going to make it, my dude, because AI is in its infancy stage right now. It only gets worse from here. So if you're already falling for this, just lock yourself in a bubble, turn off your computer, because it's over for you, my dude.
That is a great answer, and I'm just checking and see what ChatGPT says to do next. Move on to the next topic. Okay,